Imagine you run an aircraft company and you have spent $10 million building a plane that radar cannot detect. The project is 90% done, and then a rival releases their own plane. Faster, cheaper, already on the market. Yours is obsolete before it ever flies. Do you spend the last of the money to finish it? In the study that made this question famous, 85% of people said yes. Finish the doomed plane. But when researchers asked the same question without the 10 million already spent, almost everyone said no. Fewer than 1 in 5 would put money in. Same plane, same rival, same future. The only difference was the past, and the past is the one thing the money can never buy back. That pull you just felt, the one whispering, "But you've come so far," has a name. And for 20 years, science said it was a uniquely human failure. Animals were supposedly immune. Then in 2018, that story broke. By the end of this video, you will know what a mouse in a maze revealed about your brain and how to catch this trap before it spends years of your life. First, the idea. A sunk cost is anything you have already spent and can never get back. The money on the ticket, the years in the job, the hour in a bad movie, gone no matter what you do next. Which is exactly why, on paper, it should not matter. Every option in front of you carries the same past, so rational choice says, weigh only the future. But that is not how it feels. It feels like quitting erases the 10 million and finishing redeems it. So we keep investing in losing causes precisely because we have invested before. That is the sunk cost fallacy. And curiously, the first people to name it were not economists, but biologists. In 1976, they called it the Concorde fallacy, after the supersonic jet that Britain and France kept funding long after it was clear it would never pay off. Remember that it came from biology, it will matter later. And listen for the tell in your own head, I've already put so much in. It feels like a reason. It is not one. The researchers who nailed this down were Hal Arkes and Catherine Bloomer. In 1985, 10 experiments, and the plane you just met was the centerpiece. Picture the two versions side by side. In one, you have already spent $10 million. In the other, you are offered the same doomed plane as a fresh choice. That is the entire difference. 85% finish the plane when the money is sunk. Strip the history away, and the yes votes collapse to roughly 1 in 6. The past walks in, and the decision flips, and it works outside the lab. Students buying theater season tickets were randomly charged different prices. Full price at $15, or a surprise discount, $2 off, or $7 off. Same seats, same shows, the full price group attended the most plays. Not because they loved theater more, the prices were random. They went because staying home felt like wasting $15. Hold on to one detail, it will matter at the end. By the second half of the season, the difference had quietly disappeared. Once you know the shape of this trap, you see it everywhere. Economists play a party game called the dollar auction. $1 bill, highest bidder wins it, but the second highest bidder also pays and gets nothing. The moment two people are in, neither can stop, because whoever quits eats their whole bid. So a $1 bill routinely sells for $3, $4, $5. Every bid is a sunk cost, and every sunk cost demands one more bid. In 1976, Barry Storr showed the corporate version. Managers funding a failing division poured in the most new money when they had personally made the original call. Quitting would mean admitting it was wrong. He named the pattern after a Vietnam-era protest song, Knee Deep in the Big Muddy. And Vietnam is the dark version, where each year the sacrifice already made became the argument for more. Most of us never run a war, but the same gears turn in a job that stopped going anywhere, in a relationship held together by, but we've been together 5 years. In a stock you will not sell until it gets back to even. In every plate you finished just because you paid for it. So why does your brain do this? Arkes and Bloomer's answer is almost sweet. Somewhere in childhood you learned a rule, don't waste. It is a good rule, over-applied. Walking away feels like the act of wasting, so you keep going to avoid it. Except the waste already happened. You are just paying extra to not feel it yet. Underneath sits something colder, from Kahneman and Tversky. Losses hurt roughly twice as much as gains feel good. While you keep investing, the loss stays open, unofficial, still fixable. Quit and it becomes real. Escalating is how your brain buys hope on credit. And one more layer, that project, that relationship is evidence about you. Quitting does not just close a chapter, it files a verdict on the person who wrote it. Now for the part most videos skip, because this is where the science gets genuinely weird. For decades, the textbook story was that this trap is uniquely human. In 1999, 2 researchers reviewed every animal study they could find and concluded there were no unambiguous cases of the fallacy in animals. Stranger still, young children seemed immune too. Kids walked away from bad bets that adults kept feeding. So the comforting theory was, sunk cost thinking is learned. We absorb don't waste as children, then over-apply it for the rest of our lives. Animals never take the class, so they never fall for it. That story held for 20 years. Then, in 2018, the journal Science published an experiment that broke it. Researchers at the University of Minnesota built foraging worlds for mice, for rats, and a video game version for humans. Every trial had the same shape. First decide whether a reward is worth the wait, then, once you commit, stand in line for it. All 3 species did the same thing. The longer they had already waited, the harder they clung on, even when leaving was the smarter move. And one detail in the data was almost too clean. The pull only appeared after the commitment. While they were still deciding, spent time did not trap them. The moment they crossed the line, every second already spent became a chain. Mice, rats, and humans. Same trap, same shape. The Concord fallacy came from biology, and biology just took it back. So is it settled? No, and you deserve the honest version. A pigeon study found the effect only under narrow conditions. Critics called the animal results a possible artifact, and the original team ran new controls and pushed back. In 2025, researchers reported that the classic questionnaire experiments, the airplane and its cousins, are psychometrically unreliable. Ask one person several sunk cost questions, and the answers barely correlate. And remember the theatre tickets, fading by the second half of the season. The trap is real, you have felt it. But it is not the simple, uniquely human, always-on glitch the textbooks sold. It looks older than our species, it flickers, it fades, and scientists are arguing about its true shape right now. Which brings us to the only question that matters. How do you beat it? Learn the tell. The moment you justify a choice by pointing backward, I've already spent, I've come too far, that is the alarm. Reasons live in the future. Excuses live in the past. Then run the fresh start question. If I showed up today, brand new, no history, would I choose this? Would I buy this stock at today's price? Take this job at today's terms? If the answer is no, the only thing holding you is the receipt. One honest caveat. Not every keep going is a fallacy. Sometimes finishing protects your reputation or honors a promise to someone else. Those are real future benefits, so count them. Just notice how rarely they are the true reason, and be kind to yourself. A mouse in a maze cannot let go of 10 wasted seconds. You are running the same ancient circuit, with rent and a resume on top. You will not win every time. The goal is to win more often. The money is already gone. The time is already spent. The only question worth asking is, what happens next? The next time you catch yourself finishing the doomed plane, remember the mouse and put the shovel down. If this changed how you think about quitting, subscribe. A new bias every week. Think sharper. Get fooled less.